Hey guys, kinggath here with patch 1.0.4 of Sim Settlements. This patch is titled Holotape 2.0. Now, I'm sure a bunch of you are wondering, how in the heck does he have a commercial building already when he has no homes? Well, that is thanks to a new option in the Holotape. So I'm going to show you guys what I've done. I had to finally abandon something that I loved and I think others loved, but still others probably hated, which that was the immersive naming of the holotape options. They're now named very simply, very alphabetically, so that it's very clear what you're changing. And I was forced to do that because my own restriction of immersion was kind of tying my hands. And I was running out of how I was going to explain something like auto-assigning unique NPCs in the lore. So rather than trying to rack my brain and create all these options, I just switched it over. It'll make it simpler for everyone to understand. And by proxy, one of the other advantages is that now these options will actually refresh easier, so you don't have to go to that extra screen which explained the lore behind the change. So this seems like the best method overall, especially because by the end of the development of Sim Settlements one day, I would like to have just tons and tons of controls for you guys so everybody can play the mod how they want. So if I got much larger than this with the immersive described ones, it would be unbearable, I think. So I'm going to go over just a few of them that maybe need explanation or the ones that have changed names. So the first one here is the reason that I have a commercial building already. Basically, if you enjoyed the way it was working prior to this patch, leave it on homes, and that is still the default option. And so if you didn't have any problems, you like the challenge of getting commercial unlocked, leave it at homes. Now, if you, say, want commercial earlier, or you don't have enough space to build homes in the settlements you're working on, or maybe you just feel like I'm kind of an ass and have made commercial impossible to unlock, feel free to switch this over to population. I know the current homes requirement can feel a little cryptic without the numbers, and also because it's not just homes, it's actually homes plus the current homes have to have their needs met, so it feels very convoluted. But for those of you who are having no problems, I'm sure you don't even notice, but I've gotten so many reports on this, I felt it was important. I gave you guys an option to come out from under my crazy requirements. So if you want to get easier access to commercial, just switch this over to population. The next option is delay building materials, and I'm actually going to show you what this one does. So there were a lot of issues with snap points, and it turns out the snap points themselves are actually fine. What's happening is that as soon as the building materials spawn, they kind of interfere with the snap points. So what I've done now is, by default, when you place a plot, it takes 15 seconds for anything to appear, so with exception of the for rent sign. But you'll be able to just pick this up and set it down again without having to worry about that demolition menu. Now, after the building materials appear again, you will once again get that demolition menu, and you'll have to deal with that so now if I pick it up again, I've got to demolish before I can place it again. So if you like fine-tuning your positions, you can set that you can actually increase the amount of delay. So by default, it's 15 seconds. You can turn that up to 30. If you guys would like additional, even more time, let me know. I'll add additional options. And if you preferred the old way of just make those materials appear right away, you can also switch this to 0, which is how it was prior to this patch. The next thing is dynamic needs. Now, that was prior called provide additional utilities. So I've basically just changed this name to match what I call it in the in-depth series of videos. If you have no idea what this option does or the previous one did, please check out the in-depth series video called Dynamic Needs, and that will explain what that does. The next option was previously called Personal Inspection. I actually added this in a recent patch, and I've now renamed it. So essentially this does exactly what you think it does, is once a building hits a level, it won't upgrade past that level until you pop into the settlement to take a peek at it. Now, it's on by default because this actually doesn't affect the timers. So say you built an empty plot and someone moved in and enough time passed to take it all the way to level 3. The eligibility for level 3 is still maintained. It just lets you visit the settlement to see each upgrade. So you'll go to the settlement, and then level 1 or level 2 will unlock because level 1 will have been there and you'll have seen it. And then when you leave, level 2 will start, and then when you come back, and leave again. Level 3 will start. And that's just kind of to make sure you get a chance to see the progress in your settlements without them just rushing through to the end. So again, it doesn't affect timers in any way. So having this on or off won't make your buildings upgrade necessarily faster. It will just, if you turn it off, it will skip those pauses and you won't get an opportunity to see the in-between stages. Initial plot costs and jobs required are named and do exactly the same thing as they did prior to this patch. And then the final option used to be called regular inspections, is now called realistic build times, because that's basically what it does. So if you like the idea of your buildings taking a more realistic amount of time instead of just kind of building right before your eyes, turn this option on. So that covers all of the holotape options. The other two major changes in this patch, aside from random small bug fixes, are one, that settlers that aren't supposed to be assigned by the player are no longer assigned by Sim Settlements. So that will cover issues like Ronnie Shaw or the Minuteman radio operator, who I know both of those were causing some issues for you guys. So those will no longer be auto-assigned. Now, if you already had them assigned in your save, there are console commands you can run to get that fixed. So I will post those below, and if I don't cover the character that you're having trouble with or the console commands are giving you a problem, please open a bug report on the Nexus page to get those taken care of. And then the final major change was to help with the assignment of settlers to a Sim Settlement house and then a vanilla job. So prior, occasionally for some people, the jobs wouldn't stay assigned. So for example, I'll go ahead and show you guys. You might assign someone to a home and then you want them to go to the scavenging station. So we're going to go ahead and just swap this over so you can see it in action. So once you get someone a home, so I'm giving this person that home so I didn't have to find the other home, and now they've got their home. Now we assign them to this manual work. What happens is they'll get unassigned to their home for just a second. And now if you watch the quick start video, you already know about this, but I'm just going to go over it again because it's something I get asked all the time. So they'll get unassigned from their home for a second. This is something that the vanilla workshop scripts do. I can't stop it, but what I am able to do is then reassign them back to the home a few seconds later. So once you see that, it should hold now. I know a lot of people were finding that they would go through this process and then the workshop object, so this workstation, would get unassigned again shortly thereafter. That should happen far less often. If any of you find times where it's still happening, please open bug reports, and I'll continue to tweak that code. But I think I've got it in a pretty good spot now so that you guys can continue to mix and match Sim Settlements with both Bethesda created objects and third-party items from other mods. So that should be taken care of now. And the last thing I'm going to cover is Xbox users. Yes, it's coming. It is coming so soon. This morning I had 40 bug reports open. Right now I have 18. As soon as I can get that down to single digits, I'm going to start finishing. I already have started the Xbox port, but I will finish the Xbox port and get it to you guys as soon as I get those bugs under control. Fixing bugs on the Xbox is near impossible, and so I have to do it on PC before I can give you guys a copy. But it does work. I just have to finish up a few issues with the HUD, and you guys will have access to that as well. So, all right, thanks guys for watching. Please keep reporting to me any issues. I want Sim Settlements to run like it was part of the vanilla game. Actually, better than that, because many of you know we need an unofficial patch to actually make this damn game work half the time. All right, guys, take care. Enjoy the mod.